students, welcome to our channel and today topic is oogenesis. So what is this oogenesis? It is the formation of egg or ovum from the germinal epithelium and it starts at the puberty. It is a discontinuous process because it starts before the birth inside the fetus and again resumes when the child reaches puberty. So it is a discontinuous, and this oogenesis takes place in three phases as occurs in case of spermatogenesis also. First is our multiplication phase, and in this rapid mitotic divisions takes place. Second is our growth phase. In this the size increases due to the accumulation of nutrients. And the third is our maturation phase, and this meiotic divisions occur. First is our multiplication phase, and in this you can see here this is a primordial germ cell. It is a diploid one and it will undergo rapid and repeated mitotic divisions and they will form oogonia. These are again diploid because the mitotic is equational type of divisions, and out of these oogonia some oogonia will preserved and act as a stem cells. They have the capability to undergo repeated mitotic divisions to form future oogonia when the cells require more oogonia. Second is a type B oogonia, and these type B oogonia will enter in the next phase, that is our growth phase. And now after the accumulation of nutrients and after the size increase, this is called our primary oocyte. So this process, the second growth phase completed before birth, and now this primary oocyte enters into the third and the last phase, that is our maturation phase. So this maturation phase comprise of two divisions, that is meiosis 1 and the meiosis 2. So the first is a meiosis 1, that is reduction type of division, but this division is not completed. It is arrested at the prophase 1. So when a child girl is born, then that contains these primary oocytes that are arrested at the prophase 1 of this meiosis 1. So after birth, when the child reaches puberty, this meiosis 1 again resumes and forms this secondary oocyte and first polar body. So the first resumption of this meiosis 1 takes place at the time of puberty. And what is formed? Our secondary oocyte and first polar body. Here you can see there is unequal division of the cytoplasm. The size of this secondary oocyte is large as compared to this polar body. Why this type of unequal cytokinesis takes place? Because this polar body, this one has to be degenerate. There is no function of this polar body. So the purpose of this unequal division is to preserve or to prevent the wastage of this cytoplasm, so that can be utilized further at the time of zygote cleavage. So our motive is to prevent the wastage of the cytoplasm. That's why this unequal division take place at meiosis 1. Now again, when this meiosis 2 starts, it's again arrest at the metaphase 2. Meiosis 2 has start after the meiosis 1, but again arrestation occur and it will remain arrested till the sperm enters at the time of fertilization. At that time only this meiosis 2 completes. So the second arrestation will remains. If it is not fertilized, then it was not going to complete. So this meiosis 2 completes only and only when the sperm enters at the time of fertilization. And at that time what will occur? The secondary oocyte undergoes second meiosis and forms ovum and second polar bodies. This is our mature ovum. It is our whole oogenesis. Now you can see the structure of this unfertilized egg. Here you can see at the center it is a ooplasm, that is the cytoplasm of this ovum, and in this cytoplasm what is present? You can see this structure, round structure. It is a germinal vesicle, that is the nucleus that is going to form the future nucleus at the time of fertilization. So this is our cytoplasm, and this cytoplasm is covered by a membrane that is called the vitelline membrane. There is a space between this vitelline membrane and this ooplasm, that is called the perivitelline space. And in this, what are present? The polar bodies. First polar body is present here. Now this vitelline membrane is covered externally by another membrane, that is a non-cellular layer, that is called our zona pellucida. These radiating cells form the corona radiata, and these corona radiata cells are fixed together by a chemical, that is our hyaluronic acid. These are attached together, combined together by a chemical, that is our hyaluronic acid. So this is the structure of our ovum, and this egg or the ovum has a polarity. One end where the sperm is going to enter inside this cytoplasm, that end is called the animal pole, that is near the nucleus where the germinal vesicle or the future pronucleus is present. That end is called our animal pole, and the opposite pole is called our vegetal pole. So what are the hormones that control this oogenesis? First, you can see this is our hypothalamus, and this hypothalamus, which is a part of brain, is going to release some releasing factors or hormones. These are gonadotropin releasing hormone, and these stimulate this anterior pituitary to secrete gonadotropins. One is FSH, that is follicle stimulating hormone. Second is luteinizing hormone, and these two gonadotropins are going to stimulate this ovary, which are going to form or release the ova. So they are going to stimulate this structure, that is our ovary, and inside this ovary what are present? A number of follicles are present that are developing and maturing into mature Graafian follicle. So these are follicles. So this follicle stimulating hormone is going to stimulate or activate the maturation of these follicles, and on maturation what they are going to secrete? Estrogen, that is the main female hormone. So they will secrete estrogen, and this estrogen is responsible for the oogenesis, that is the formation of ovum. So this estrogen is secreted in a very large amount by the matured follicles, and this increased estrogen at the time of ovulation on the 14th day of menstrual is going to stimulate. What is going to stimulate? It is going to stimulate or sending a positive feedback to this anterior pituitary to release more and more LH, and that released amount of LH at the time of ovulation is called our LH surge. So there is a rapid increase in this LH secretion, that is called our LH surge, and that is due to this estrogen positive feedback to this anterior pituitary. So this estrogen stimulates oogenesis and also ovulation, release of ovum. Next is our LH, and this LH is going to stimulate this corpus luteum, the structure that is formed after the rupturing of these follicles. So they stimulate this corpus luteum that is important for the release of progesterone, some estrogen and inhibin at the time of pregnancy. If the pregnancy is there, so this structure will be there till third month, and it will release progesterone, estrogen and inhibin. But after their secretion, after some time when their concentration increase, it again sending negative feedback to both the hypothalamus and the anterior pituitary, and that will lead to the decrease in the secretion of LH, and that will automatically responsible for the degradation of this corpus luteum. So all these progesterone, estrogen, all are going to send the negative feedback when the concentration of these hormones increase, especially this progesterone hormone. And this inhibin also sends negative feedback for the secretion of this FSH. So mostly the hormones send a negative feedback for their own secretion. When their concentration exceed a normal level, they start sending negative feedback to the master gland or master gland, that is our hypothalamus, to slow down the secretion of these gonadotropins, because that is not required, because already that hormone is available in sufficient amount in the cell, whatever cell is there. So these hormones, along with this oogenesis, they also control other factors, other characteristics in female. So what are those? First, if we talk about this estrogen, it is responsible for the development of secondary sex organs like fallopian tube, uterus, vagina. Second is the development of secondary sexual characteristics which are found only in female. What are these? That is high pitch voice. Second is development of mammary gland. Third is a pubic hairs, deposition of fat in different body parts of a female. And we have already discussed this, that they promote this oogenesis and the menstrual cycle. So these are other factors which estrogen control. Second is that progesterone. It maintains the pregnancy. That's why it is called pregnancy hormone. And how it maintains pregnancy? By the thickening of the endometrium wall of our uterus. Second function is the formation of placenta. And the third is the stimulation of alveoli inside the mammary gland, so that more milk is produced during the lactation period. So these are other functions of these hormones along with the oogenesis. Thank you for watching, and if this video is found useful, please like and subscribe our channel. See you in next lecture.